about 3 3/4.
You good? Oh yeah.
Stop. Go in the middle here.
What? You may have noticed that we use a few different techniques to notch those logs. Um, because it was our first time really notching any logs in life, we decided to try pretty much everything and see what felt better, how comfortable we were with each and every one of them. We pretty much decided to use all of them, but in different ways. So we start by sawing lines across the log, then we chisel it out, the biggest part. We'll axe out the bottom that's harder to get at with the chisel, and then we will use the curved chisel to actually make the shape of the notch. It's a lot easier this way. It's a lot of different technique, like we said, but we find it easier and more effective.
Good?
Yeah.
2, 3. There we go.
Too big, right?
How do you, is yours sitting good?
Yep.
Nice. we have these 4 logs on. These are the ones that are going to be supporting our floor. So the next step that we're going to be doing is to put small purlin logs between here. So they're going to be about 6 or 7 feet long. They're going to span between these. They'll be spaced out about 1 to 2 feet between each other. And then that's what we're going to be putting our final flooring on top of. If we wanted to make this easy for ourselves, we could just go to a hardware store and buy some 2x6s or 2x8s or some dimensional lumber and just span in between these. But we figured why waste that money when we're surrounded by wood on our land. So what we decided to do is to salvage the tips of all the trees that we cut. So most of the trees that we cut for the logs for the cabin, they of course had their tips that were left over that were too small to use for real logs on the cabin. But if we find enough of them that are good enough size, we're aiming between 4 to 6 inches in diameter and 6 to 7 feet long. So if we find enough of those good tips to use, then we can just finish our whole floor with those. That's what we're in the process of doing right now. We're collecting quite a bunch of those. We're pulling off the bark off of them. So since we left these tips on their own over the winter and spring and summer, we didn't take the bark off the tips. So there are some small holes that were dug by boring insects. But for most of our logs, it's just a matter of peeling off enough wood to get rid of those holes.
Yes. Nice.
We decided to test out some stains today. We got some free samples from a local stain supplier. So we're testing these 4 out. These are going to be for the outside of the cabin. We're kind of leaning more towards the yellowish one on the left. Let us know in the comments which one you like best. 1, 2, 3, or 4.